Hey y'all, Claudia from the We Garden Homestead here. It is time for another project, and I'm going to give you a little chat first. I have been, what's today, the 9th, I think. Yeah, it's the 9th of January. I have been having such a hard time getting myself motivated. It's just been such a struggle. I've struggled a little bit there with the quiltmas. And I have so much to do. I have a few things that I have to do. I have a couple of things that I really want to do. I'm going to Raleigh for QuiltCon in February, and I have a few things I wanted to get done before that. Some clothing upcycles that I wanted to get done before that I'm hoping to wear. Don't know if that's going to happen. We'll find out. But I just have so many things in my head right now that I want to get done, that some of them I've had in my head for a while now. And I've just been having a really hard time getting motivated. I did go back to work this week. I trained. I went back to the same place I've been to for 11 years. After my leave of absence, though, I had to retrain because we got a new computer system. So I trained on Monday and I trained last night. And then on this coming Monday, I'm going to go on the floor. I'm only going to work one night a week. That's plenty for me. Because I just have so many other things I want to do. I don't have time to go to work. So anyway, my project for today, I'm really trying hard to get motivated. It's actually before noontime today. It's only 11 o'clock. So I am going to get this done. So before Christmas, my daughter asked me if I would do a pair of bell bottoms for Joslyn. And I love doing stuff for Joslyn. So I said, yeah, of course. So she picked up, the cat was laying on them. They got cat hairs on them. She picked up this pair of jeans for her. These are brand new. So anyway, and they already have a bell. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with those. I have this fabric that I pulled out. Jocelyn said pink, but I had this from one of my Missouri Star boxes. She wanted patched pink. And I sent a picture of this and I said, Jessie, does she like this? Can I use this? And she was like, oh yeah. So now I don't have to patch a piece because that's just time consuming too. This already looks patched. She'll be fine with it. She's going to outgrow it probably before next year anyway. So, and then because the jeans, sometimes when I just use regular fabric for the insert on the jeans, it buckles and folds in, and I didn't want that to happen. So I have this denim that I got at Hobby Lobby probably 15 years ago on clearance. And I used it to make a couple of aprons, and it's a really wide one. So when I bought it, she said it's faded on the seam. So where it was folded on the bolt, it's faded a little bit. And I was like, well, that's fine. That's not a problem. I'll just cut around it. I'll work around it. So I've got probably over a yard of this left. And like I said, it's really wide. It's 15, 30, it's 60 wide. So I have plenty of this. I have plenty of this for several projects probably, but I'm going to use this because it's about the same weight as the jeans. I'm going to use this as a lining. So I'm going to cut this and this the same. I'm going to put them on there, and I'm going to turn you around to the table, and we're going to go through this step by step. So thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Stick around, see how I do it. I'll try to make this pair easier to follow than the last pair. I know some people said, oh, I didn't quite follow that. But thanks so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Stick around to the end to see how they turn out. I think that I'm probably picking them up from school today. So if I get these finished before I pick them up, we can get Jocelyn to model them, and I'll get some pictures on here too. Thanks so much for joining me. Stick around. Okay, so here we are. We've got the piece for the insert, the bit of denim for the lining. I'm not even sure. Looks like it's got a couple little holes in it, whatever. Like I said, I've had it in the closet for about 15 years, and I have used some of it. And then this is the jeans. So brand new. Let's see where we're at here. So I want to make sure, I'm not going to, because these already have a bell, I'm not going to rip this seam open and put more in it, because then it's going to be a really wide bell, and she wants these to wear to school, and I just think that'll be too much. So I am going to actually, I'm going to make sure I get them right on the seam line. I'm going to fold them right on the seam line. And I'm not sure where the knee is on here. I'm going to say it's probably about here. I'm going to cut a wedge out of these about like that. And this is the outside of the leg. Be very careful about that. I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go 14 inches up. That seems like a good number. I'm just going to put a little pin there for just a moment. I'm not going to cut with the pin there, but I'm going to put the pin there because I don't have a marker right now. Okay. I'm going to go 4 inches in. So to here. So I want to go from here to there. I'm going to lose a little bit more of this in my seam when I sew this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go from there to there. Let me get this out. Oop, not those. And I'm just going to cut right straight up. I haven't replaced my blade in a hot minute. So that's the piece I cut out. I'm going to save that because I'm going to use that for a pattern. I am going to, after I cut these, I'm going to rip this seam up just a little bit. That's not quite perfect, but it'll be fine. I'm going to rip the seam up just a little bit for when I put the piece in. So let's go to the other leg. Oh, that time I made it through. I guess I pushed a little harder. Now these should be, excuse me, these should be exactly the same. Pretty stinking close. What's the word they like to say? Close enough for government work? I don't know where that saying came from. I've been hearing that all my life, though. This is such a nice fabric. This was in one of my Missouri Star boxes. It is Marcus Fabrics, Aunt Grace Goes Scrappy by Judy Rothermel. And it is just it's got such a nice feel to it. And it's not really flimsy. It's got some weight to it. I am going to cut these a little bit long because I'm going to hem them. So I want to add about 1 inch all the way around because I'm going to lose a 1/2 inch on the hem here, and I'm going to lose a 1/2 inch on the hem on the pants. So I do want to make sure that I have enough to fill the gap that I just cut. You see how this is curved a little bit? I want to make sure that I follow that curve also. Otherwise, they wind up a little short on the outside edge. So I'm just going to add 1 inch this way. I'm going to go around to the other side to do this. I'm just going to go straight across because that's going to be buried up in the seam anyway. Oh. And again, I want to add about 1 inch for the hem rather here. Go halfway. And I'm going to shift over to here. There we go. So I've got my inserts, I've got my jeans. The next thing I'm going to do is just rip this seam just a little bit, probably a couple inches, probably about 2 inches. Okay, so now I had a bunch of technical difficulties. So basically I'm cutting out appliques to put on the leg. And I have 2 pieces of fabric and the Heat and Bond double-sided iron-on adhesive, the light one. It's sewable. So I'm just ironing that on the back of my fabric scraps that I'm going to use to make appliques to go on the leg here. I thought I recorded a whole big description of that, and I recorded a bunch of nothing and turned the camera off when I was doing that. So I did put a paper towel down on the background because I didn't want to get the adhesive on my iron or on the my ironing board. So here I'm just pulling that paper towel off. Paper towel's going to go in the garbage, and I'm going to cut these apart and cut out my appliques. I was going to do 3 flowers and then just overlap them on one leg. Okay, and now because it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind, I'm going to do a heart out of the blue. And I just kind of loosely drew these. I'm going to try to make them more round as I cut them out. But I'm just going to fold this in half, and I'm just going to cut a big heart. Now I could use my fabric scissors on here, but I don't like to do that because of the paper. So there we go. And then the flowers. Okay, so these are cut out. You know, if I'd have been thinking, I'd have made sure that one of these little guys was in the middle. As I put this one down, I was like, oh man, so close. It's fine anyway. Probably go something like that on the pant leg. I'm going to go grab the pants and we're going to see how they line up. Okay, this is the leg that's ripped most of the way up. So we're going to have the heart and then a flower. I don't want to go too high because I've got to be able to sew them. So I want the open part to be accessible. And then like that. What do y'all think? I think I'll tip that the other way, because that was the corner that I needed to cover. What do y'all think? I think that's going to look good. Okay, so I'm going to get the backing peeled off. I'm going to get these ironed on. And I think I'm going to do the heart first so I can go all the way around, and then I'll do these. I hope that's enough of a difference. I think I'll use a bright, like pink. I'll use pink to sew it on. You don't want to do a lot of sliding around because I don't want to move it. And you want to go about 10 seconds, I think it says on the directions. Just follow the directions on your fusible webbing if you use it. Otherwise, you could just pin it. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I am going to use some pink thread. I think I'm going to use the raw edge applique, the applique stitch that's on my machine. I have bright pink thread in my top and my bottom. I have my little tester piece, and it looks good. So now I've got my jeans with the heart. I'm going to start at the corner. Okay, no back tacking because I'm going to pull them to the back and tie them. Whew. Leave them a little bit long so I can do that. Took a little break. These flowers are on. I think they look really cute. So the next step is going to be putting the these panels in. So we're going to start with the front. And the panels are both exactly the same. I did rip out a little bit of the hem here, because remember I added in an extra inch so that I could match that up. And you could use clips on this too. I always like to start at the bottom. And the other front, I had a thought as I was getting ready to just put these in. I had a thought about just outlining with this stitch here, just outlining a couple flowers, but I've really got to get these done, and I just don't have the time for that. All right, I'm going to go sew these, and I'll be right back. Okay, these pants are still inside out. This front seam is stitched. You can see it there. When I'm finished, I'll press them, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the back seam. So we're going to start at the bottom again. Unroll that all the way. It goes just a little, you can see here, a little corner sticking off, and that's okay. It's how it's just how it's gonna piece together. Okay, so here's the first leg all finished. I did have a little pucker at the top, and I pulled it out and I redid it and made sure it was laying flat when I stitched it the second time. And this time it came out great. Looks good. I'm getting ready to do the other one, and I will be back when it's all finished. Okay, so the other one is done. This is what it looks like from the back. I'm not real pleased about that little pucker there, but if it looks okay from the front, I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's see when we turn them what it looks like. I may rip that little spot out and redo it. I don't know yet. Oh, I think we're fine. I'm just going to trim these threads off. Got a couple of them hanging out here that don't belong there. I'm going to trim those off, and then I'm going to hem these, and we're going to be done. Okay, so I know it's hard to see, you really can't see what I'm doing here, but I was just pressing up the seam here, and then I clipped it, and then I went back and I sewed it. Again, I had a bunch of technical problems today, turning on the camera when I thought it was off, and turning off the camera when I thought it was on, and we're gonna be done. Okay. Okay, that is it for me today. I am in love with these. I really like this fabric now that I've worked with it a little bit. I'm getting ready to, probably not the next project, but a soon project, do a pair of overalls for myself. And I'm thinking I'm gonna work this fabric in there because I really like that. That is so cute. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you on the next one.